Hi sophomores, this is Miss Scubas. I'll be going over the Bellringers from week 1. If you were in class on Tuesday, September 15th, some classes we went over them during class time, but others we weren't able to because the projector wasn't working. So this video is to help you to understand your answers, and please check over them so you understand these grammar concepts. Okay, accept, ACCEPT, is to welcome or to admit, and accept, EXCEPT, is leaving out or excluding. The crowd was completely silent as the puck flew in a graceful arc into the net, winning the game for the Pelicans. The opposing team members' faces registered shock. How could they blank this loss when they had been sure to win? This would be accept with an A, the verb accept. No hometown fans wanted to leave the arena that night, but security guards gradually convinced people to go. By 11 o'clock, except for a few players lingering to save the final moments of the night, the arena was finally empty. We're talking about leaving out or excluding a few players, so we want accept with an E. The next day, at a ceremony honoring the winning team, the captain blanked the trophy on behalf of all the team members. He welcomed or admitted, he took, he accepted. We want the verb accepted with an A. He said that blank for one mistake early in the first quarter. His team had played nearly perfectly and the audience cheered, except with an E. For weeks afterwards, local restaurants and movie theaters accepted tickets, welcomed, accepted with an A, from the momentous games in lieu of cash. It was the happiest time the town could remember, except with an E, that it didn't last forever. So what we're working with here, these words that sound alike but have different meanings and different spellings, are homophones. And sometimes we can get them confused. They can trick us. This was bell ringer number 1 from Wednesday, 9:09. Moving on, bell ringer number 2 from 9:10, sentence corrections. This one was done for you if you opened and saw it on the PowerPoint. This year, comma, writing will be a major focus. It's important to understand grammar rules. Without them, your writing is difficult to understand. So this sentence goes on and on. It doesn't have any breaks. Of course, a comma is a small break, but we need to have a bigger break. We need to have a period somewhere. And that first period goes here. That comma needs to be a period. Because we changed the comma to a period, we need to capitalize the I. It's is a contraction for it is. So this apostrophe actually goes before the S. It's important to understand grammar rules. Grammar is not spelled with an E, it's spelled with an A. Once again, this comma right here is making this a run-on sentence. So we can change this comma in one of two ways. We can put a period here and make this a capital W, or we can make it into a semicolon. A semicolon is a replacement for using comma and. That's a way to think of it. Without them, your writing is difficult to understand. Without them, comma, your writing is difficult to understand. Right now it's reading without them, you are writing, because you apostrophe RE is a contraction. That's not what we are meaning. We want the pronoun your. And now that sentence is grammatically correct. We are moving on to Bellringer number 3, which is from Monday, 9/14. Using a lot with 2 L's or a lot with a space. A lot with 2 L's is a verb. This one is a verb. This one means much or in abundance. A lot that is a verb means to distribute, to measure out. So the answers are already here, not covered up. In her will, the wealthy woman left some money to her family members, but she also decided to distribute some tasks to them. A lot with 2 L's for number 1 and Bellringer number 3. First, she asked her nephew to take care of her flowers, making sure they got a lot or plentiful, much water and sunlight. We want a lot with a space between it. I see this happen all the time. We sometimes forget that a lot should have a space between it. A lot without a space is not a word. Make sure you have your space. She wanted her grandson to check on a neighbor who was ill. This didn't seem like a lot to ask. This didn't seem like much to ask. So we want not the verb form, we want to have the adverb a lot, a space LOT. And finally, she asked me to allot. She asked me to distribute, or in other words, to measure out a few minutes each day to playing her piano and making sure it was in tune. 2 L's. Back to Bellringer number 2. You had 2 sentences to edit. So this is from Wednesday, 9/10. Once a week, we have a phrase beginning our sentence. We put a comma there. Once a week, we'll begin class with one of these sets of mug sentences. We don't want well, we want we will. It's a contraction, so we want an apostrophe there. We'll begin class with one of these sets of mug sentences. MUG stands for Mechanics, Usage, and Grammar. It's an acronym. We keep our periods there. This comma makes it a run-on sentence, so we actually want to change that to a period. MUG, by the way, is an interrupter. It interrupts the flow of the sentence. We might also call it a transitional phrase, transition words. So we also divide by the way with commas. MUG, by the way, is an abbreviation of Mechanics, Usage, and Grammar. Grammar is misspelled. We have an A there and a period here. Don't forget that these Bellringers, if you are writing them on paper, you don't have to write them incorrectly and do the editing marks. You can simply write them correctly and try your best, completion grade, then watch the video, or if we go over them in class, watch it on the projector and learn from your mistakes.